Hello everyone, and welcome to In Depth. I'm Elayne Anthony. This program is designed to have real and deep conversations about news that affects us from the point of view of many in our immediate community. Today we explore the nationwide gun debate. On February 14th was the day Americans froze with fear and horror as 17 students were killed by a former student at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. It has been called one of the world's deadliest school massacres. Since then, there have been heated conversations about gun control in this country, and it has really reignited. Many Americans want to see stricter regulations on exactly who can buy assault rifles like the one used in Florida. While many other Americans take sides with the National Rifle Association in arming teachers inside the classroom, in this half hour, we'll talk about the best solutions to protect our students. We'll introduce our panel in just a moment, but first, we will look at this great issue.
It's a chaotic, heartbreaking, and clearer picture now emerging from recordings and a new timeline just released by the Broward County Sheriff's Office.
Make sure we get some units over here. I need to shut down Stoneman Douglas.
That's the voice of the armed school resource officer, Scott Peterson, who was on campus the whole time. Not only did he not go into the school to pursue the shooter, but we now hear him telling responding units to keep their distance.
Do not approach the 12 or 1,300 buildings. Stay at least 500 feet away at this point.
Stay away from 12 and 1,300 buildings.
The new timeline reveals that from the moment the shooting started, just before 2:22 p.m. on Valentine's Day, it was 11 long minutes before police finally went into the school, a full 5 minutes after the shooting stopped. During those first terrifying moments, 911 calls poured in.
I think I hear gunshots.
From inside the school, from people nearby, and from frightened parents.
My son called me now that there is shooting in Douglas High School.
Douglas High School? Okay, stay on the line for me, okay?
Yeah.
What city is that in?
Parkland, Florida.
In another, you can hear a mother trying to comfort her daughter.
It's okay. It's okay. Oh my God, I love you. I love you. It's going to be fine. Can you hide somewhere? Can you play dead?
As the terror unfolded, Officer Peterson stayed outside the building, his lawyer later claiming Peterson believed that those gunshots were originating from outside. The timeline now clearly shows Peterson telling dispatch it was inside the 1200 building.
But what I saw was a deputy arrive at the west side of Building 12, take up a position, and he never went in.
Adding to the chaos, there were separate 911 systems used by the Broward County Sheriff's Office and the Coral Springs Police Department, meaning they couldn't communicate with each other.
39, white male, ROTC uniform, burgundy shirt. Last seen in the 3-story building, north parking lot.
The police spotted the gunman, but couldn't relay that critical information.
Does he know where the shooter is? We don't know, but we're in the building, in front of the 13 building, building 13.
These tapes, just a fraction of what happened that awful day, a glimpse of the confusion, panic, and tragedy that struck Parkland.
Meanwhile, here at home, lawmakers are debating a bill not to deny access to guns, but to further expand them into Mississippi schools. House Bill 1083 passed the Senate by a vote of 27-18 last week. Supporters say if it becomes law, it would allow school districts to pinpoint employees for specialized weapons and training. Already in Mississippi, we have two main types of concealed carry permit laws. If passed, people would now be able to bring their guns into a long list of places, including elementary schools, universities, sporting events, and other public places. Now, it's up to the State House of Representatives to move forward or kill the bill. We welcome to the set today Geraldine Bender, who is the Executive Vice President of the Jackson Federation of Teachers. Welcome. And we also have Dr. Nicholas Hill, Associate Professor of Economics and Finance, right here at JSU. We are very, very pleased to have both of you here with us. And this is a double, almost a triple issue if you add the political side to it. Now, can you tell us, after those mass shootings in Florida, why is the issue of gun control such a difficult one?
It's difficult only because of one organization, the NRA. It's all over the place. Right now, the students, the teenagers are making this an issue because they're not backing down. They want to fight. And as adults, we can't let them fight alone. So everybody's joining in.
Good. Dr. Hill?
Yeah, I really think that this issue is culminated now and it's taken a spotlight. But I believe that this is the 15th or 17th, a large number of shootings this year that is taking place in the school. I know during the past 8 years, we've had multiple mass shootings throughout this country. And if I'm not mistaken, we're one of the developed countries with the most mass shootings out of all the developed countries in the world. This issue is taking a front line. I think it's due to the fact, mostly, we have young people who are now beginning to, in some regards, wake up and become spokesmen for these causes, for these issues that are definitely connected to them, but also one that has been around for a while, but no one else has had a chance to speak up for.
All right. Mm-hmm. When we come back, the firearms industry is a booming business in America, over $51 billion totally. We'll show you who is benefiting after the break. You're watching In Depth.
The City of Jackson Police Department is currently looking for new recruits. If you are at least 21 years of age with a high school diploma or GED and possess a high moral standard, the Jackson Police Department is looking for you. Serve your community and make the City of Jackson a safer place to live, work, and play. We offer a competitive pay scale and the chance for promotion not found in many careers. Classes begin soon. Apply online or at the JPD Training Academy. Join us to begin your training to become an officer of the Jackson Police Department.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Welcome back, everyone. The firearms industry is a booming business in America. According to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, the national economics of the firearms industry is over $51 billion. Companies in the United States that manufacture and sell firearms, ammunition, and hunting equipment hire as many as 141,000 people. They are good-paying jobs, making an average of just over $50,000 in wages and benefits in terms of averages. Mississippi pays over $100 million per year in labor to help put guns in the hands of consumers. We rejoin our panel, and now we are talking about that $51 million. And with the U.S. firearms industry, and that, I should correct myself, it's not 51 million, it's $50 billion, which is a great difference there. What are the economics behind all of that? And can you kind of elaborate and explain to us how it's not only a community issue, but it's also an economic issue?
So to put this in context, it is a large industry that does a lot of production and generates a lot of, as they say, profits for these companies that do actually produce. I will say that also consumers love their guns in this country. They are really driving to the market. One statistic that we kind of see is that after the Las Vegas shooting, with the potential ban of the bump stock. Right after that, sales for that bump stock increased. It went dramatically up. And typically, I know during the President Obama's administration and during his tenure, that soon after a shooting, the fear of legislation to take away guns caused demand for those particular guns to increase. So not only do we have a booming industry for production on the supply side, we also have a high market for demand for guns in this country.
So would you say we've got to strike some type of balance economically and then educationally and how we wrap our arms around it? Because we are not an undeveloped country. We are a developed country.
And I would totally agree. To me, the big issue is a social economic issue, not necessarily pricing and marketing costs, but what is the true cost of, let's say, a human life, well-being for the community? That should outweigh any particular business profits. That should outweigh any type of utility that I get from owning a particular gun. Long as I know and we have a safe community and society, that's good enough. And I think when we have that lens and that economic lens, it's a little bit easier to understand why we need to do something about the volume of guns and the access and ability to get guns in this country.
Do you think there should be an age limit, and how will that affect us economically?
Well, I'm gonna say this: the age limit isn't the issue. I've heard on the news about Dick's Sporting Goods. I hear about Walmart, and they're doing all of these different bans. Basically, the reason why you do it for that particular demographic is they normally don't buy guns anyway. It doesn't hurt your bottom line. It doesn't really impact the profits. It looks good on paper as one of those decisions to make, but not that many 18 to 21-year-olds have enough money to afford, let's say, an AR or to purchase that. So I look at those decisions and saying those are business decisions to do that, not necessarily a social conscious decision. Better decision to do would be to say we're no longer going to sell them. We're no longer going to sell guns in this area. But they won't do that because it's big business, big profits.
It's big profits, big business. And you're saying the AR, that's that assault rifle?
Yeah, the assault rifles and some of your other high-powered rifles that are there. They are potentially the demographic that would be more likely to purchase that are those who are 21 and above, that older demographic. The 18 to 21-year-olds really don't go into Walmart to purchase those type of guns and Dick's Sporting Goods and things like that. That's not where they would purchase it anyway. So I want to kind of, it looks good, but I believe the company understands sales, and they understand that even if we do restrict to this demographic, it wouldn't have a major...
It's not going to affect sales.
It's not going to affect sales of the bottom line.
I think that's interesting, and that needs to be pointed out in a great big way.
That's right.
That it's not going to do that. And most of the people in that age bracket would be given a gun.
That's correct.
That would be purchased by an older individual.
That's correct.
Is that what I'm hearing
That's
you say?
correct. And gun enthusiasts and gun, I guess, purchasers, right? They typically do not go to Walmart to purchase a gun. They go to a gun wholesale distributor. Those who actually know, they can actually purchase online from the company, you know, and these other things. Once they get through the background checks, wait in some states the 2 to 3 days or 3 to 5 day waiting period, they're able to and entitled to purchase this gun. So I do see that there is a trend, but I want to make sure we understand that the business of gun is booming. Companies know this, and they know what demographics to kind of sell to.
Okay, well, our friend here, Ms. Bender, talked about the National Rifle Association.
That's
and,
right.
Saying that that's where we are in terms of, because that's business. It's, in a way, it's social consciousness. They're talking about the Second Amendment, but it's still business because you have to actually go out and purchase it. And do you think this is being driven by the NRA, all of this?
I think it's being driven a lot by the Second Amendment and the ability to say, I want to preserve my Second Amendment right. I have the right to bear arms, even though it was written so long ago and the purpose for which it was written no longer exists. It has not been changed, so I have the right to bear arms. And you take your family to a local eatery, and the gentleman is sitting at the table with his grits and eggs with the firearm on his side because he has the right to do it. So that's what's driving it, to say I have the right to do it, whether I really want to or care, but it's my right, and you can't take it from me.
And you cannot take it away from me.
Right.
All right. While a lot has been made and said about gun control, many are talking about why the accused Florida shooter Nicholas Cruz chose to go on this shooting rampage. When we come back, we'll show one parent's method of child control, and it is going viral. You're watching In Depth.
Jackson State has prepared me academically, spiritually, financially. I was already mature, but they taught me how to be mature in a professional manner.
The quality education that I received at Jackson State University really set the foundation to pursue God's PhD.
I came on my first visit. I love the atmosphere. The culture has so much energy. There's always something going on. Jackson State, to me, it's just a home away from home.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education, what are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That would be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Welcome back, everyone. While the shooting massacre in Florida has ignited a conversation about gun control, many believe the conversation should be better parenting. The suspect, Nicholas Cruz, reportedly had trouble amongst family, and there were numerous behavioral issues before he was dismissed from Stoneman Douglas High School. Parents across the country are weighing in. Take a look at this Facebook video of a parent doing what he believes is the right thing. The video was shared over 500,000 times.
All right, everybody, welcome to You Better Listen to Your Dad 2018. Any of y'all know me know I've got two wonderful children, Hayden, my son at 10, and my daughter, Temperance, at 8. Well, my son has finally gotten in trouble on the bus enough to where he got actually kicked off the bus for 3 days because he was being a little bully, which I do not tolerate, cannot stand, and therefore he has to now run to school. We're right about 1 mile from the school, so all week he has got the experience of running to school. The good news is, hey guys, he keeps up a pretty good mile pace at 6 miles an hour so far. Yesterday, he was apparently a little rude for Michelle in the morning, so even though it's raining this morning, he still gets to run. This right here is just simple. You know, ironically, since he's been running to school this week, his behavior's been much better. His teachers have approved of his behavior this week. He hasn't gotten in trouble at school this week, where last week he was just absolutely out of his mind. But this right here is just old school simple parenting. This ain't killing nobody. This is a healthy way for a child to be punished because it's, you know, exercise, something that a lot of people don't think children should do anymore, so you just stick them behind a damn Xbox for the rest of their lives. So this right here is called parenting, guys. If you don't know what it's like, here you go. Teach your child a lesson. You don't have to kill them. You don't always have to beat them, but sometimes it sucks for them, and that's what teaches them. So he's going to be a very fast runner later on because I've always joked he'll either be fast or obedient. So far, we're working on fast. So if you say we need gun control, people, you know, here you go. This is what we need. Parenting. Very simple thing. Proud gun supporter, love guns and everything else, but I love my children more than anything in this world. So I'm going to take initiative to raise them. You know, I can't lock them in my safe like I can guns. You know, I can control guns easily forever. This I've got to make sure I control now, because when I'm not around, he has free will. So.
Wow. That's one proposal from one parent. What do you think about what you just saw as an educator?
Well, as an educator, I would say that young man will come to school very tired, but very open-minded and ready to learn. He will probably have a different thought about his dad later on, though. What I would say to parents, be careful of your parenting, because are you going to build animosity that will come out later on, or are you going to show love? And so we have to kind of question that video and make sure that's clear.
Okay. What do you think, Dr. Hill?
Well, in the argument, I know what we're talking about is young people having access to guns and the concept of bullying. And one of the things that we have to be aware of is that a lot of times when people are bullying, they have been bullied. So it may have been something that he was kind to reciprocate, because he's had that same type of abuse going on toward him. So one of the big collective things is parents, we need to be involved with the schools. We need to be involved with our kids. We need to be involved with the community, the families, the friends, that if any conflict occurs, we need to be able to talk with each other. And I think the more that we have this communication, we'll be able to solve these problems. But we're in isolation, we're in our own silos, like most communities and things like that. We won't be able to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, all right. We want to talk more about these proposals. We saw this video. I guess we can call that a proposal. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the proposals? One that's on the table is to arm teachers, and that with guns on school grounds. And I'd be interested to know, as a representative of the Federation of Teachers, what does your organization feel that teachers want to do?
Our national president, Randy Weingarten, has made it very clear. Teachers want to teach. They went into the area of education because they have a love for students. They want to see them grow in knowledge and in spirit. They want them to aspire to become great things, do great things. So teachers majored in the field of education in order to teach. They did not major in criminal justice. American Federation of Teachers of Mississippi takes the same stance. I'm the state president of AFT Mississippi, and that's what our teachers want, to be allowed to go in the classroom and teach and create wonderful students, to use our president's term. Okay. Wonderful, great, ready to go to work students, yes.
All right, well, let me just ask, this is a question for really both of you. Mm-hmm. The solution, we understand that. How do you do that if little Johnny or little Julie is afraid at school? How do you create this safety net? Because the students have to feel that way in order to learn. What are some of the solutions that you think would be good?
I would think, first of all, don't give the teacher a gun. That's number one. Do not give a teacher a gun. The way that you can make the students feel safe is the districts put money in security. Instead of having one security officer for as many wings as you have on your building, that's how many security officers you would need. The students would see them readily visible. And these security officers are trained to use the firearm mentally, emotionally, not just to be a marksman. So it takes a lot to kill another human being. But as a teacher, you're asked to shoot the student that was just in your class the other day, that you just complimented and patted on the head and said, you're doing a great job. And he comes back the next day with the gun. Are you ready to kill him? That's a question I think teachers don't want to have to answer.
Dr. Hill?
And I think you touched on some great points. And in the whole system of education and the social costs associated with it seems like it becomes really an expensive endeavor to try to arm, train, and supply adequate guns and for teachers in districts and schools that are underfunded. And I think that that's a misplacement of the cost for the intended purpose. And I think we need to really sit down and look at holistically what is going on in the country to where these guns are getting access, not to kind of put it more guns in all these other areas. So I feel much more comfortable in a space where there's no guns versus in a space when everybody has a gun. So I think that that's one of the views that I would share with a lot of people, is that I think that's the best place to be safe.
I think that when we look at all of the issues that you're talking about, there are even more issues with the gun than without, because we have insurance, we have liability issues, you mentioned training issues, the purchase of the gun, and then there's a selection issue. Do you give everybody the gun? Suppose a teacher says, I don't want to deal with that. And then what do you do in terms of who do you select to give the gun to? There are a lot of issues out there that we need to deal with in the school system. And it seems as though from what you've told us, Ms. Bender, is that the teachers are saying, no, they don't want it.
No, that is not what they want. That's not how you educate a child. I'm here to protect you in the classroom. Well, I'm trained as a teacher how to protect you in the classroom. If there's some bullying going on, then we can handle the bullying. We can deal with that. We can offer training to parents how to recognize that your child is being bullied. There are a lot of educational things that we can do to help parents. But to give a teacher a gun, you're saying, divide your feelings.
And that's difficult
Dig
to
in
do.
your heart and say, I can kill that child.
Okay, all right. We'll be right back to wrap things up after this break. You're watching In Depth.
The Jackson State University family would like to thank the 2017 J5 Drum Majors for Academic Excellence for raising more than $200,000 for scholarship endowments, including Title III grants. This year's Drum Majors include Dr. Alfred Martin, chairman of the Jackson State University Development Foundation, and his sister, Dr. Anna Jackson. Their scholarship will support students in the biology department. Dr. William Bynum Jr., 11th president of Jackson State University, establishes the Christine Bynum Smith Award for Academic Excellence and Involvement in Campus Ministry. Lieutenant Colonel Dexter Brookins and retired Brigadier General Robert Creer create the Dr. John A. Peoples Jr. ROTC Scholarship Endowment. Dr. Bill Cooley, retired Dean Emeritus of the JSU College of Business, and Team Cooley, their scholarship goes toward the JSU School of Business. Tarita Benson Davis, second vice president for the Jackson State National Alumni Association, and Team Benson Davis will create a scholarship for the School of Business. If you would like to become a head drum major for academic excellence next year, contact the Jackson State University Development Foundation or the Office of Institutional Advancement.
Well, we appreciate you coming. We also appreciate you coming as well.
Thank you.
Dr. Hill, this has been an enlightening session, and I hope everybody gains from this, because all parts of society can gain. So we appreciate you being a part of In Depth. We'll see you next time, and thank you all for watching. I am Elayne Anthony for In Depth.